say thank you all for coming out. These kids have worked so hard. Parents, grandparents, I have enjoyed working with these kids so much. I mean, it has been a blessing. We have had fun. They have learned and studied all different parts of theater life. What it's like to create a backdrop and a set, to get the costumes together, characterization, projecting your voice, stage presence. And so they are super excited and they have worked extremely hard. And so just sit back and enjoy the show. It is Grimm Fairy Tales, Briar Rose.
Once upon a time, in a faraway land where in those days there were fairies, lived a king and a queen.
Good wife, we have plenty of good things to eat and drink, a coach to ride in every day, but I would give all of the kingdom if we could only have a child.
I wish the same thing, dear husband.
One day, as the queen was walking along the side of the river, she saw a poor fish lay gasping, nearly dead on the bank.
Poor fish, I should put you back in the river.
And she did. But before the little fish swam away, it lifted its head out of the water and said,
I know what your wish is, and it shall be fulfilled in return for your kindness to me. Within 1 year you shall have a daughter.
What the little fish had foretold soon came to pass, and the queen had a little girl.
Oh, my daughter brings me so much joy. We shall have a feast, make merry, and show her to all the land.
I will have the fairies come. They might be kind and good to our daughter.
and so there was a great feast.
Noblemen, kinsmen, family, and neighbors all came to see the beautiful little princess.
And there was much eating and drinking.
And singing and dancing.
I wish all 13 fairies could have come.
But we only have 12 gold dishes. Maybe the 13th fairy won't find out.
And so 12 fairies came, each with a silver one in her hand. After the feast was over, they gathered in and gave their best gifts to the princess. One gave her goodness, another beauty, another riches, until she had all that was good in the world.
Just as the 11th had finished blessing her, a great noise was heard in the courtyard.
The 13th fairy! How dare you not invite me to this feast? Instead of a blessing, I give you a curse. The king's daughter in her 15th year shall be wounded by a spindle and fall down dead. Oh no, what can we do?
There's only one fairy left.
I'm so terribly sorry. I cannot undo what has happened, but I can soften the curse. When the spindle wounds the child, she shall not die, but she shall fall asleep for 100 years.
Maybe we can still save our daughter.
I order that all the spinning wheels in the kingdom be gathered up and burned.
And so it was that the gifts of the first 11 fairies came true. She was beautiful, good, and wise. Everyone who knew her loved her.
Today I am 15, and my mother and father have gone to town. I am bored with nothing to do.
One day she decided to travel throughout the kingdom and look at all the rooms and chambers. until at last she came to an old tower with a narrow staircase, ending with a small door. There was a golden key in it, and when she turned it, there sat an old woman spinning away, very busy.
Why, how now, good mother? What are you doing here?
Spinning. How prettily that little thing turns round.
Would you like to try?
But scarcely had she touched it, the spindle wounded her and she fell lifeless to the ground.
She was not dead, but had fallen into a deep sleep, and the king and queen, and the horses in the stables, and the dogs in the court.
Even the fire on the hearth went to sleep.
The cook fell asleep while stirring his stew. The butler fell asleep while sipping his ale. The chambermaid fell asleep while sweeping the floor. And the knight fell asleep while polishing his helmet. Even the children fell asleep who were playing in the courtyard. As the years passed, a large hedge of thorns grew around the kingdom. Neither the roof nor chimney could be seen.
But they would report throughout the land of the beautiful Briar Rose, for this is what the princess was called. From time to time, several king's sons would try to break through the thicket into the palace, but none of them could succeed. Every time they would be grabbed by the thicket and be held and die wretchedly.
One day, as the prince was traveling upon the land, he presently came upon an old man who began to tell him a story.
There's a place nearby which said is enchanted. Behind a thicket of thorns with her entire court, a beautiful princess named Briar rose.
I must find this palace.
Beware, my son. My grandfather told me that many princes have tried to break the thicket, but they have all stuck in it and died.
All this shall not frighten me. I will go and see this Briar Rose.
And so it was when the prince arrived, the 100 years came to an end, and all he saw was a beautiful flowering shrubs which he went through with ease.
He saw before him the palace, and the sleeping dogs, and the sleeping horses, and the chambermaid, and the knight, and the king and queen, and the children who played in the courtyard.
Till at last he came to an old tower. When he opened the door, he saw Briar Rose fast asleep next to the window.
She is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
I do believe I've been dreaming. As soon as she opened her eyes, the whole kingdom began to awake.
And soon Briar Rose and the prince were married.
I command